Good one. Get down that grass.
Don't get in the grass. Don't
Oh,
get
come on, son.
Don't get in the grass.
Good.
I'll get
You get him up?
Yeah. Come here, fishy. Oh,
there we go.
There you go. Largemouth, summertime fishing. Barryville, we're going to have a good one today, buddy.
Certainly are.
Hey, stay tuned. Bob Murray, we're going to have a good time in Double Valley Outdoors. Ooh, yeah. We're at Lake Cayuga in, I guess it's what, Western New York?
Kind of central, western part of it.
Midsummer, or late summer, I should say. Barry Vullo is up here from Real Bass with us again. Barry was on a show a couple months back, and he said, hey, Bob, got some hot summertime fishing up here, and we're up here. Barry, let's just talk a little bit about the conditions that you find in the summertime.
Okay. Up here on Cayuga, you know, generally July and August is pretty hot time for up here. There's the summertime fishing is real good. A lot of grass fishing. Naturally, this lake is near Ithaca, New York. It's one of the fingerling lakes. It's one of 11 actually. This happens to be the biggest one. It's about 40 miles long and about 3 miles wide.
So that's a big expanse of water.
It's a big lake. It's a glacier lake. There's about 43,000 acres of water here.
Jeez.
I mean, there's a lot of water here. And again, like most lakes, there's a lot of ways you can fish it. Generally, if you split the lake in half, the north end is fairly shallow and grassier, and the bottom half is a little bit more rockier, a little deeper. There's depths in here close to 500 feet deep, out in the southern middle parts of the southern end of the lake, which there's a lot of trout and landlocked salmon in the lake.
So there's just not a bass lake.
No, it's got bass, smallmouth, largemouth, pickerel, pike, your panfish, your crappie, yellow perch, but it also has the trout family, salmon, landlocked salmon, rainbow trout, brown trout, walleye. It's got a lot of different kinds of fish in here.
And it's popular with our local bass clubs from our area coming up here to fish it.
Yeah, there's, the Red Man comes up here twice a year now, and then a lot of the local clubs from Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and New York especially visit here quite a bit.
So it's a pretty good fishery.
It's got a lot of fish, a lot of grass. There's dock fishing available. We're fishing some riprap here. There's a couple islands that you can fish around. So between the docks and the grass and the rocks, there's quite a bit to fish. And 40 miles long, 3 miles wide, you could be here while fishing.
Well, I'll tell you what, we have a great amount of grass under us here. So if you want to fish grass, and we'll talk about that as we go along here, this is the place to go. All right, now I see a big fish somewhere under this mat.
This area here, Bob, along this riprap here, there's when the wind blows in this direction, it pushes a lot of the floating grass in here and it makes like a mat. And it's one of the techniques that can be pretty effective. When it's matted and it's mixed in here with the willow trees here, the fish just lay underneath the mat. And they just, you throw your lure, either a worm or a rat or a soft jerk bait, floating worm, spoon on top of the mat and just kind of drag it across.
And let it.
And if they might hit it over top of it, but when it gets to the edge, they'll follow right out to the edge, and that's usually when they whale it. But especially on a hot, sunny day, they like that shade.
They'll back up in there.
They'll get right underneath that mat, and it can be a real effective pattern during the summer months when it's hot and sunny.
Barry, I know we were talking about the matted grass, and I know it's a lot difficult sometimes to fish weeds. Some of the lures now, I'm throwing a spinnerbait, and you're throwing a little worm. What other baits would you want to use, and what do you want to stay away from?
Well, in the matted grass and, you know, heavy grass in general, all right, there's, you know, things that you can use and things that you shouldn't use. It makes it a little tougher fishing naturally. But what we're doing now is, like I say, we're throwing spinnerbaits and worms, but there's a number of other things that work well in the grass situation. Spoons, buzz baits, there's soft jerk baits like Sluggos or Bass Assassin, which is a soft bait that works real well, you know, in the grass, over the grass, rats, stuff that, whoa, there we go, son. Speaking of little devil. Sorry for that little interruption there, but
little worms, right?
Yeah, right here it's throwing a little 4-inch slider worm, but we got a little largemouth there. Little interruption there, but the thing is to throw lures that won't get hung up in the grass too often. There's other techniques where guys will throw different size worms, different weights with the worm, anywhere from 1/8 ounce to 1 ounce to get down in the grass. Depends on how deep the water is and how thick the grass is. Another effective way is, you know, heavy pig and jig to break through the grass. Pig and jigs work real well. You want to kind of go after the weedless type of lures that, you know, cut through the grass in one way or the other, and then so you're not always cleaning the grass off.
I know.
But then, you know, naturally you probably wouldn't throw a rattle trap or a crankbait in a grass bed that's real thick, because it's just going to continue to get, you know, hung up. You know, so you probably would, you know, the jerk baits and the crankbaits, generally the baits that dive down deep, probably wouldn't be a good selection, unless the grass happens to be a few feet under the surface, and then, you know, some of your smaller baby 1- might be good, and your jerk baits that float, the shallow stuff, you know, can be good. But when we're talking matted grass or real thick grass, those type of baits probably wouldn't work as well.
Barry, one of the things that you run into a lot of times, and I know we always complain about it as bass fishermen, it's the wind. But yet in this situation here, I think the wind is kind of our help here, right?
Definitely. You know, granted, it's not fun to fish when it's real windy, but the wind does create a couple of things. It actually can make structure, like I was saying earlier. It'll blow the grass in here, it'll mat, all right? But not only, if you figure if it blows the grass in here to mat, it also blows bait fish in here. So if you find a bait fish, you'll find a bigger fish. So the wind actually, you know, it kind of eliminates a lot of different things. Even though it's not fun to fish, it can be real effective, because it's either blowing cover in, or, you know, the wind's blowing water on a particular point or a bank, and it also pushes bait in there. So when the bait gets pushed in there, it's a good bet that there will be some fish in there.
The bass will just come.
They'll follow it in and start feeding. So it has, you know, a dual purpose. Sometimes you get cover out of it, and sometimes you get bait after, you know, the wind blows for a while, and then you get both, you know, best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Cover, bait, and then a big fish. And that's what you want to look for.
I know a lot of fellas don't like to fish that wind, though.
Oh, it's
especially throwing a bait caster.
It's not too bad if you're throwing it with the wind. Yeah. It's when you throw against the wind, it creates what they call a professional overrun.
That's right, baby.
Fishin' Tales, located in Wrightstown, is the perfect store for fishermen and hunters. For the fishermen, we offer 13 types of live bait, fly fishing supplies, and gear for both fresh and saltwater anglers. For the hunter, Fishin' Tales offers hunting equipment and supplies. You can also purchase your fishing or hunting license. Personal service is important. If there's something you don't see in the store, we'll special order it from you from one of our numerous catalogs. For your convenience, our store is open early 7 days a week. So stop in anytime and trade your fishtails with us.
Some people have an excuse not to watch Chat 24.
course, Scott is always so busy. When he's not working, he's a fireman. He does a lot of cool stuff, like putting out fires and saving people's houses. He even rescued my best friend. I call him Smokey. Isn't he a cutie? I'm glad Scott's my neighbor.
Get a grip. Gat's River Grip river anchors, as seen in the In-Fisherman's Walleye Insider magazine, have been nationally field tested for precise anchoring under all river conditions. This special design features 3 prongs that grip rocks and boulders, a metal plate to collect gravel, sand, and mud, and a slip handle that aids in retrieval. Gat's River Grip comes in a 9-pound or 18-pound version. Stop by your local tackle dealer or call Twin Rivers Anchor Company at 888-TOSS-OFF for more details.
So, we just moved from that matted grass and that grass bed just a little while ago. We're over here on the east side of the lake, down a little ways. These white buoys that you see out here, they mark, danger or, some rocks in the area. So what we're doing, we're fishing isolated grass and rock structure, if you will. It's mixed in. You have some grass pockets, and then you got rock piles out here, so it's a mixture of both, and that's kind of like the best of both worlds when you get grass and rock, especially in the spring, summertime, July and August. We have a chance here for smallmouth, largemouth, and pickerel and pike.
So they'll just come up onto these rocky areas and just feed. And
yeah, they'll feed on. They'll be pretty much staging in the grass, and they'll go in there and chase bait around the rocks. And they got open water, and then they have the grass so they can retreat back, if need be. So they're not too far from secure places.
Now we're throwing spinnerbaits, but how about a crankbait in here?
A shallow running crankbait will work also when we run out of the thick, grass clumps. So you could, use either or. Right now we're spinnerbaiting, but the crankbaits will work, and also worms. It's a little choppy right now for top water, but if it does calm down, we can definitely do some top water.
If it lays down,
because
I'm sure it's got to be a prime spot for.
Oh yeah, they're just waiting around those rocks and that grass just to grab something.
Now we have smallmouth in this lake, largemouth. What's the average size fish that you would expect to catch in this lake?
This lake has probably an average of probably 2.5 to 3.5 pound bass. There are, like we were talking earlier, there are a lot of tournaments up here, and it's not a matter whether people are going to catch fish or not. It's a matter of finding the pocket of fish that are bigger than the next. So I mean, probably 2.5 pounds is a good average with plenty of 3s and 3.5s.
And there's some decent 5s in here.
Yeah, there's decent size. I mean, there are 4, 5, and 6 pounders here, but I probably would say probably 2 to 3.5 pounds is probably the average. Smallmouth and largemouth, and they're good, healthy fish. Good,
strong fish.
They know how to fight. Strong fighters.
Barry, I know you did a show with us on Lake Kapakong, and I guess it was the spring. And now we're up here on Cayuga. Tell us about real bass, and again, where you guys guide at.
All right, Real Bass Venture Guide Service is based out of Port Tobacco, Maryland, and currently we have 15 licensed captains, and all the guides specialize on the Potomac River for largemouth, smallmouth, and stripers. And then from there, we have guys that live in Virginia and Maryland that do Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, and then myself, I do the Potomac, and then I move on up through Pennsylvania, New Jersey, New York, Connecticut, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario, Lake Champlain, and we're here at Cayuga in New York State, which is one of the fingerling lakes. And
so if somebody wanted to
Yeah.
coming up here on vacation, something, they could contact you and you could meet them up here? Or...
Yeah. We cover pretty much all the major lakes and rivers, and they can contact Real Bass Adventure at the phone number. And if they'd like to hook up with me, just just tell them that they would want to talk to Barry Rule or get in touch with me, or they could call me at home, which is 215-736-3118. That would get me directly. And then we do day trips, multiple days. I'll go on vacation with somebody. I'm well trained and listen pretty well. No, we do one boat or multiple boats, one day, multiple days, vacation trips.
One or two guys.
Yep, two guys to a boat, and now they have a group of guys that like to which is pretty common. We have like I said, 15 licensed captains, so we can actually put 30 guys on the water. So
if you have an outing or something like that.
We do a lot of corporate stuff. We've had a lot of policemen, a lot of fire departments that do trips, one big trip every year. And we do a lot of them on the Potomac River, but now we have quite a few more guides in Pennsylvania, New Jersey now, so we can also handle big groups up this way too.
So if you want to get
it's pretty much whatever they want to do, or wherever they want to go, we pretty much cover it. We cover the whole Northeast corridor. We're the largest guide service in the Mid-Atlantic regions.
Get a grip. GAT's River Grip river anchors, as seen in the In-Fisherman's Walleye Insider magazine, have been nationally field tested for precise anchoring under all river conditions. This special design features 3 prongs that grip rocks and boulders, a metal plate to collect gravel, sand, and mud, and a slip handle that aids in retrieval. GAT's River Grip comes in a 9-pound or 18-pound version. Stop by your local tackle dealer or call Twin Rivers Anchor Company at 888-TOSS-OFF for more details.
Hi, this is Bob Murray. Delaware Valley Outdoors is now on the internet. Our internet address is www.dvoutdoors.com. Visit Delaware Valley Outdoors for the latest in regional fishing reports, weather conditions, maps, pros tips, and product updates. Why not visit us on the web?
Some people have an excuse not to watch Chat 24.
My neighbor Scott is always so busy. When he's not working, he's a fireman. He does a lot of cool stuff, like putting out fires and saving people's houses. He even rescued my best friend. I call him Smokey. Isn't he a cutie? I'm glad Scott's my neighbor.
Attention anglers, are you interested in a new boat? Are you interested in saving thousands of dollars off the cost of a new bass boat? Delaware Valley Outdoors will be selling the ProCraft boat that you see Bob using on the show. The boat, a 1997 ProCraft 185 Pro, comes with many factory upgrades that will make your fishing experience even more enjoyable. This is your chance to purchase the boat you always wanted and at a price you can afford. For a list of extras and more information about how you can own this boat, contact Bob Murray at 215-862-2670 or visit our internet site at dvoutdoors.com for all the details. Don't miss this opportunity. Call today. The Tackle Box is sponsored by Durstein Baits, locally made, professionally tested. Well, Barry, we're at the Tackle Box section of the show again. And, there's always a variety of lures. And again, like you get out to fish a lot of spots. And especially this time of the year on this lake, let's go through some stuff. Let's start with the top water bait you have here. That's a nice color too.
Okay, yeah, it's like what they call it a albino color. That happens to be a Rico. That's a brand name Rico. It has a little different sound to it. We use a lot of different poppars and chug bug and stuff, but the Rico, has a little different pop to it. And that's an albino color. Another color is pretty good is like a baby bass color is pretty popular too. And works well for top water. That's
a nice looking bait.
Yeah.
And they're just like you're just skipping that across the.
Just cast it out, pop it a few times, let it sit. I like a slow stop and go retrieve. And the last few weeks here in August, we've been fishing. The fish have actually been following the baits, so they like it stopped. A little hesitation.
That's hard to do. You have to sit there.
And with top water baits, it's you see the splash and you want to set the hook, but you got to wait till you feel the fish.
You got to wait. Okay, now we're fishing over grass beds, and this has become a very popular lure. This one here. What do we have here? That's
a baby 1-, Tennessee shad color, and it's real popular, especially when there's a lot of grass and there's maybe anywhere from a few inches to a foot of water over the grass. It doesn't get hung up nearly as much as a deep diving crankbait.
Yeah, this bait doesn't dive very much at all.
No, just
you can see by that little lip there.
Yep, it's a very shallow one. It's real effective over grass.
But it has a good profile to it.
Sure does. Has a nice little wiggle to it.
And how about the colors? You like this?
Well, that's a Tennessee shad. Kind of try to match the color to the bait. But there's other colors. The chrome and blue work well, and there's a chartreuse color.
Right.
Fire tiger color is a popular color.
I had a good lot of success with the lemon shad.
Yeah, in the fall, your crawfish colors, your brown crawfish and orange crawfish and yellow crawfish colors tend to be very popular to the coming into the fall also.
Well, since we're on moving baits, I have to talk about my.
That's right. We did well on it.
We did well
on the spinnerbait over the grass. It was one of those things.
Again, this happens to be one of my favorites, the Durstein river minnow bait we have, but
it's a good looking bait.
It's a great bait. Again, you're fishing over grass and you want something fairly weedless, and out of all the lures, this has got to be one of the most weedless, easy lures to fish.
Yeah, it is, and you caught a lot of fish on that.
Yeah,
and it comes through the grass real nice, and it's
I like that these tortoiseshell blades too. It gives a little bit more of a thump. But this is for fishing over grass.
It's you got to have it.
All right. Speaking of weedless things, let's go with just some of the plastics that you have. Now, we did a show on this lure. I guess it was last year, but it's the Jersey rig. Tell us about that.
All right. Well, like I say, that's a Jersey rig, and it doesn't look like much. And all you do is you hook the hook right in the middle, exposed hook, and you can throw it around anything, on the edge of grass, around the docks, any rocks. And one of the latest things I've done is in the ends, besides put smelly jelly on it, I put rattles in the ends. And it makes a big difference. Lately, basically, one of my rules of thumb is I put smelly jelly on everything, and I put rattles in everything. It's just something else for the fish to think about.
That's right. When this thing goes through when you shake it like that with those rattles, it must be.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah. And this here bait, a lot of people, it's fairly new, but I mean, a lot of people don't throw it, but this has caught a lot of fish. I mean, I don't have a problem fishing behind anybody. If I see somebody fishing where I wanted to fish, I'll go behind them and throw this, and I'll catch the fish that they missed.
Right. I love this fish around docks.
Yeah.
I think this is an excellent.
It's real good around docks and around rocks.
Yeah, that falls so slow. And I guess you can't go fishing without.
You got to have black and chartreuse worms, whether it would be a slider worm, a ringworm, or any kind of worm. But black and chartreuse is a popular color. This happens to be one of the smelly jelly worms, and it's got the smell built right into the worm.
Get close to the television and smell, and you can smell it. I bet you can smell it all the way from home. Man, this stuff is nasty. But that's what you want. You got to appeal to all their senses. And what, 4-inch basically?
4-inch ringworm, black and chartreuse.
A little slider head or a little.
Yeah, a little slider head or Texas rig style.
Okay, well, we're going through some of this. This has become real popular over the past years, and I know a lot of guys don't throw it, but the other guys that do.
That is a Bass Assassin, what we consider a soft jerk bait. And there's a couple ways you can rig it, just Texas rig with a hook. And if you want to get down a little deeper, you can put an 1/8 ounce weight ahead of it, or stick one of those nail weights up in there to get it to go down in the grass a little deeper.
how do you work this for somebody who really is maybe going to think about starting
Well,
fishing?
I would definitely throw it around, you know, floating grass or, you know, grass in general, grass beds, and rig a Texas rig and cast it out. And usually I try to keep it in my sight. And I just twitch the rod tip just a little bit, and I just watch it kind of like, you know, dart back and forth. And if I see a pocket or a hole, I'll let it settle a little bit. And
so you use
if
a
you
lot
have
of sight fishing.
a lot of sight fishing too, but like when there's a hole in a pocket, I'll let it drop. But you know, the thing with this here, just any soft jerk bait, is when the fish grabs it, just try to, you know, count to 5 or something. Let them get it, run with it before you set the. Because, you know, 9 out of 10 times people see the fish and they pull it out of their mouth before they actually got it.
Well, you're so excited because you see that flash coming.
You know, lures that you're using that you can see, like the soft jerk baits or the top water baits.
Takes a little practice.
You gotta, you know, you tend to get real excited and you end up pulling the lure away from the fish before they actually have it. So a rule of thumb is to wait till you feel the fish, then set the hook.
Okay, now
this here happens to be a June bug zoom lizard, and I dyed the tail chartreuse, but since the bait's kind of dark, it doesn't come out that bright green color. But
gives a little contrast.
Yep, has a little contrast to it, and June bug happens to be one of my favorite colors. But there's a lot of colors I do like, but that's one of my favorite, and it happens to work real well up here.
Are you going to Texas rig this, or you can Carolina rig it?
Either way. Caroline, but right now, today we were doing Texas rig, and again, I had smelly jelly and a rattle.
There you go.
Oh, got him on.
What kind of spinnerbait was that? That was my lucky.
All right.
My lucky Durstein spinnerbait. Hey, Bar, it's been a great day. Good fishing with you.
You too.
I'm Bob Murray, and I'll see you again on Delaware Valley Outdoors. Hey, don't forget to stop by the website, www.dvoutdoors.com, for all kinds of information, message board, and some updated fishing reports. Maybe we'll even show a picture of one of these. Hey, we'll see you again. See that? My lucky spinnerbait, son. I love it.
Yeah.